People tend to forget, especially during droughts, that California is at high risk for flooding, and that risk is increasing. Intense winter storms, known as atmospheric rivers, are responsible for most rainfall-related flooding. Some densely populated coastal areas also face high flood risks from storm surges and extreme high tides. Flooding is not confined to just a few places. All counties have been declared flood disaster areas in the past, some dozens of times. And 1 in 5 Californians, more than 7 million people, live in areas that are vulnerable to flooding. The potential economic costs of flooding are immense, with hundreds of billions of dollars at risk. The U.S. Geological Survey showed that a series of intense atmospheric rivers, similar to those seen in 1861 and 1862, could cause losses of more than $700 billion, exceeding damages from earthquakes. In 2017, one of California's biggest dams, Oroville, experienced major spillway failures after a powerful storm. This highlighted the need for safety upgrades to prepare older infrastructure for bigger floods expected from a warming climate. It will take significant investments in flood protection infrastructure and innovative approaches to reduce these risks. Finally, the economic risk of flooding is increasing for 2 reasons. First, as the population and economy grows, more people and more homes and more businesses are exposed. Second, risk is increasing because of California's changing climate, with more intense storms and rising sea levels.
Adapting to a higher risk of coastal flooding will require new infrastructure, like levees and seawalls, and also investment in natural systems. For example, beaches can shield communities from strong ocean waves, and wetlands slow down runoff from storms. Communities can also get ahead by steering development away from high-risk areas and adopting flood insurance.
The same applies to areas prone to river flooding. In 2007, the legislature enacted a package of flood reforms for the Central Valley. These set higher flood protection standards and required that climate change and ecosystems be incorporated into planning. All of California would benefit by adopting these reforms.
One of the greatest challenges facing our state is chronic underfunding of flood management. According to a recent PPIC study, we would need to spend $1 billion a year for the next 25 years just to keep up. With a reduction in federal funds, locals need new tools in order to raise this money, and the state needs to better prioritize its limited bond funds.
Floods don't come very often, and it's hard to keep people interested in preparing for them when the sun is shining. But it's also a certainty that vulnerable areas will eventually flood. Today, 1 in 5 residents lives in a flood-prone part of the state. The challenge for California is to find novel solutions for reducing the impact of floods while getting more benefits from investments in flood management. And of course, figuring out how to pay for it all.